Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, April 2nd, 2026. So we start off with EJ and Johnny, and look how Johnny is just crawling back to his father little by little. Again, he always gonna crawl back to daddy to fix his problems and his mess that he's in. Because if we remember, he worked at Titan just to get away from his father. They were at odds, and now look who's crawling back. Anyways, EJ welcomes him like the prodigal son, and he asks him what's really going on with him, and he said that he's in quite the situation because Titan is wanting to sue the mirror for copyright infringement, plagiarism based on Bonnie's book. He wanted to think about using the mirror laws, but he said he'd just come to him, and he's glad that his son came to him, but he asked him to explain the situation more in detail. So he said that Kate and Xander, they pushed this book on him. He remembered going to the pub and Xander had to take care of a text message, some business text message, and leave the book there, and indirectly push the book on Johnny, to take it over to the mirror, since they can't take over another book, or so they say, so that he can see what happens with it, take it to publishing. And Johnny naively did it, and with the suggestion from Kate as well. Now EJ does not care who it is. He does not play about anybody. When it comes down to his family, he does not play. So he said that he's gonna do his best to fight. He's gonna do his best to support Johnny, be in his corner. And he said, look, this was all a play for you to just take the book. This was them. They were financially struggling. They wanted to set this up so that they can reap something financially, because they are struggling right now, and this was a perfect plan. Like, you are inexperienced, and that's not what he said, but I'm saying it. He's inexperienced, he's naive, he's gullible, and he thinks that Xander and Kate, they're all in his corner, and he didn't think that they would backstab him. I mean, it's not personal, it's business, but Johnny is inexperienced. Like, him coming to the mirror to run it, I mean, he does not have the cutthroatness. He does not have the experience, and that's what it is. He fell into the trap, unfortunately, but daddy is there to help him. Now, speaking of EG, right? Chanel has a change of heart, a slight change of heart, and she's telling her mom that she's just thankful for EJ saving the day for her and Johnny to hold on to baby Trey. And Paulina is still skeptical about letting EJ in, even though he did one kind gesture. Letting him in can open up a whole can of worms, and also make due that he is definitely gonna collect his reward at the end of the day. Now he feels as if when he does that, he is going to want something in return from them. They have to pay the piper. So Paulina is just telling Chanel to be wary of EJ, not to let him in all the way, because that's how it is, and then you have to pay the devil and all of that. So she's saying that she's not trying to open the door fully, but she's not standing in the way for Johnny to have a relationship with his father, or him to just have a relationship with his grandchildren. They still are going to have boundaries in place. They just don't want to shut him out completely. And Paulina was saying, even her and Molly talked about that one time, but she still has her guards up about him, and we all know why, because she is upset with EJ trying to bring back Abe's real love of his life. But anyways, Chanel is asking why she's so uptight about it all. She said that it's because of the decision that she had to make, where she had to struggle with her conscience and her heart, and she ended up going with her conscience, but it still was a stressful decision to make. But she's just saying that to just be careful. I mean, Chanel was saying that she should have extended the same grace she did to Theo when he wanted to work for the mirror. I mean, why didn't she talk to him about staying away from his uncle EJ? Now, she didn't have an answer for that at all, but all she can say is just, Chanel, just be careful. He's not the one to really let in like that so easily. Now, Maggie's in the loop of what's going on with the recent litigation against the mirror, and she's like, what's really going on? How come Kate didn't tell her about it or inform them? And Philip can't really explain how his mother is, why his mother would do such a thing, but he's just saying, look, today is the day of the loan payment, it's due today, and we have to, think of something real fast. I mean, Bonnie really did some copyright infringement right here. She used some of the similar words to what Stephanie did in her book, and we need to sue either Demira or we need to sue Bonnie directly. And Maggie is soft-hearted. She does not want that to happen. She doesn't want to sue nobody right under her roof. And Philip is just, being plain as day, saying, you might not have a roof after all this. So he gave her some food for thought. He said that, we have to do something about it, because it's not going to look really good for Titan if nothing is happening. And Johnny did not take the bait, right? And that's the only smart thing I'm going to commend Johnny on. Johnny did not take the bait just by signing over some zeros to Titan, right? He went to his father, which I think was the right decision, because EJ is cutthroat. EJ don't play about his family. He's going to turn this thing around. Now, Bonnie got on top of my nerves today because she just wasn't listening to reason. All she was just stuck in the clouds about how her book is going to be this success, and how, she's going to do well at her book launch, and nothing else is coming in the way of that. And I'm saying, newsflash, your book can never be what Stephanie's book is. Like, she's claiming that it was out of her head that she wrote everything. And, Justin was just he wasn't trying to be cynical, but at the same time, he did come off like that and said, yeah, I mean, you sure about that? Like, he's trying to say, you sure about that? And we're in a lot of trouble right now. And she's saying, like, I mean, why you have to let it sound like that? So he told her that I read some of the pages, and one of the lines are similar to one of the lines in Stephanie's book. So she said I might have been inspired by the book, or few pages, whatever. I might have been inspired by the book while I was writing my book, but everything came out of my head. And I said, Bonnie, you're just trying to BS people, because at this point you just change a few words based on the line I heard Justin say. You just change around a few words. It's like if you do an essay in college or high school, you changing around 2 words is not going to make you more of an author, or it's not going to say you wrote the whole thing, because the teacher, the professor, whoever, they're gonna, say this is plagiarism. You didn't really do no work on this thing. So it's basically the same thing. But Justin is, as a lawyer, he's trying to savor that stress. He's trying to say, okay, to save face, let us just do damage control before it hit us really bad. Let us just stop the publication. Let's not do the book launch at all. But Body's not going to hear that. She's not trying to hear that. She wants to do her book launch, and she said, oh, we're not going to be intimate, and if you can support my vision and all of this, then don't show up at the launch at this point. And Justin is not trying to say he's not proud of her or anything, but he's just trying to just protect her. She said, I don't need your protection. I'm just saying, Buddy, you're being too stubborn in this. You should listen to him. He's the lawyer. I mean, he hasn't wanted any much lawsuits, but yeah, listen to what he's saying. He has some kind of knowledge with that. But anyways, moving on to Theo and Gabby. So Theo is getting back into his CEO chair, but he wanted to make some decisions. He wanted to bring on Gabby as a partner. He wanted to do that earlier, but Gabby was hesitant because she got her company back. She doesn't want to really go back with Demir or work with anybody else. She wanted to do solo, but he, talk a pretty game, and she's interested now. I mean, she was saying he sounded like EJ for a bit, but he said, look, I wanted to do something better with the mirror, turn it around. I'm not who the rest of my family. I know that the world thinks of us negatively, but I want to change that. So she's intrigued by it all. Then as they're talking, Philip comes in, and it's kind of awkward, and Philip is just suggesting that they could stay. They all could stay, could buy the next round of coffee. But, Theo said, hard pass, I have a meeting to get to. So Philip is like, what's really going on with him? Right? Because it's just awkward all of a sudden. Now, Philip is talking to Gabby about moving in together, because He's really serious about that, and he also told her what's going on with the family company, all the issues going on, the lawsuit, whatever. But he wants to make an effort with her. He's serious about her. He wants to also go back to his family home because he checked out of the hotel room. He's serious about moving on things forward with her. I mean, I think this is a bad idea, but he wants her to move in the Kiriakis mansion. And I'm just saying, Gabby's just going from one power family to another. I mean, if they really go down the aisle, she's gonna be a Kyriakis from formerly Demira. Way to go, Gabby. But anyways, she accepts the idea and they go back to the house. That's when they saw Justin and Bonnie in the middle of their argument, and Bonnie runs off. Justin goes running after her, and Philip saying, hey, welcome to my house, where it's always drama. Like, I know I'm not missed this at all. So Gabby said, are you sure about moving in? He said, yeah, I really need to, right? So just Johnny comes over, meets up with Maggie. Maggie's thinking, everything is all hunky-dory, and she's thinking that he's coming back to his position there. Now Johnny is saying that he can't work there. It's not favorable there after he's been stabbed in the back by her and, the rest of her family. That the whole company stabbed him in the back. So he explained a few details about that, how, Xander left him there with Bonnie's book, basically pushed it on him because they couldn't take it, or so they say. And he went off to take a business message. And all because of that. No, they knew what was happening, and they knew it was going to backfire on him, on Demira, and that they would be in the middle of a lawsuit, and they were just trying to push this on him so that they can reap financially because they're struggling. So you understand that they're in a money crisis, but to do that to him is just unforgivable, and he can't see, he can't foresee working there anymore. And Maggie is oblivious this whole thing because she didn't know about this whole plan, right? So he's saying, I find that hard to believe, right? Because look at Kate, like, she's very cutthroat. This is up her alley to do these kind of things. No, Maggie really honestly didn't know nothing about it, but she said she would never do that to somebody. That's not how she runs business. But he doesn't believe her. He doesn't believe anybody at this point, and he's saying like he's not coming back to work there. So poor Maggie's left out of the dark. She didn't know about this strategic plan at all of Xander's and Kate's. So now she's trying to like call and find out what's really going on at this moment. But Johnny is livid, and yeah, I'm just saying, Johnny should have really known Kate's ways from the beginning. Like, yes, she is technically your step grandmother, and she was like a grandmother to you when she was with Stefan and all that. But come on now, that when it comes out to business, Kate does not play. She will play dirty if she has to. And come on, Xander. Come on, no, Johnny. You should have really seen it for what it is. Yes, he gave you opportunity to work over his family company, but come on, do you think that he is going to like catch you when you start sinking? Nope. And as EJ rightfully said, you're the mirror. They're Kyriakis. They're not going to look out for you. They're going to look out for their own family first. Now he comes home and he's upset. Chanel can see that, and Chanel asked him what's going on, and he said that I'm in the middle of a lawsuit, and they played me for a fool, really. And she said, I'm not surprised because I'm reading a few pages and it's similar to what Stephanie wrote. It's nothing new. So he just can't believe that they really did this, and he's upset at it. And yeah, that was really it with them. I remember EJ wanted to see Theo, and this was the meeting Theo was talking about. So Theo comes over to the Nemir mansion, and EJ gives him a new briefcase. So he thanks him because he needed a new one. He's welcoming him back to the Demir chair, the CEO chair. But he said, like, you could have just delivered this some other way. Like, why am I here? So he said, that's not the only reason why you're here. So he comes down to the basement, and he's, Theo's getting antsy. Theo's like saying, do I really need to see what's going on? I really don't want to know about your business. So I said, yeah, you really need to see. So he leads him in, opens the door, and Theo is flabbergasted. He was like, Mom, is this my mom? So he tries to like take Egypt by the collar and saying like, like, what did you do to her? What's going on here? So he's angry now, he's confused. So EJ said, if you let me go, I'll tell you what's going on. So he said that we've been working on this for quite a while now. Your grandfather was working on a way to get your mom back to life. If he did all his life's work on this whole thing, and it's now coming to fruition. Everything seems good, the vital seems good, and she may come back to the living for real. So he's all emotions, understandably, and he's like, so this was what you were doing in the secret clinic there. So he said, yeah, but we couldn't really tell anybody because we don't want to get no hopes up. So he tells him that you can't tell your father about this, but he said, like, dad really needs to know. So he said, not no, because we don't want it to jinx or anything. So he said, we have to just keep it between us for now. But one thing I'm gonna ask you, like, are you sure that you want to do the CEO job if your mom comes back? Because your mom wasn't fond of the business. Do you really want her to see you in this position? That's something you got to think about, while you're here. So he's just really overjoyed to see his mom there, and a lot of emotions, but it's still kind of in the first process. So let's see how this story develops. But that is it for today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like, pause, subscribe to my channel, comment below your thoughts on today's episode. I will see you guys tomorrow.